Hello, we're the anime reviewers. I'm Matt.
I'm Zach.
Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming animes that him and I are looking forward to watching.
Yeah, for the winter 2021.
Yes. First show we're going to talk about is called "Suppose a Kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies Moved to a Starter Town." And like all I've seen just like a little teaser video of it.
Yeah, the promo video.
Yeah, the promo video, and it really didn't show all that much of that, like what was going on. Just some characters and some action and stuff. But like the description of the show in like the couple of sources I read, it's about this kid who grew up in around a high level most dangerous dungeon, and he's seen as weak, but then he goes to where people who start out with going on their adventures are, and being where he grew up, he's just unbelievably powerful in that area.
Yeah.
And that premise is just it's very interesting, and it seems like it's wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon without the picking up girls in a dungeon part.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it looks like it at least has some promise. I mean, the premise of an overpowered main character right out the gate is obviously overdone, but it's not a version of it I've seen before.
Yeah.
So I hope it does it well and doesn't fall into like every trope that like a lot of them do.
The show is anticipated to come out January 4th, which that's going to be one of the first on this list that's coming out. That's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do this in any particular order of preference, besides just certain thoughts that we had. None of like how we.
This isn't in date order. Not specifically.
Not in what dates are going to be coming out, or what we want to see the most.
Yeah, this is just overall anticipation.
Yeah.
The next series that we're going to be talking about real quick though is BStar Season 2, which is being done once again by Studio Orange, who did the first season. Which I will say, like, in regards to 3D animation, do really, really well. And unfortunately for this, at least in the U.S. and many countries, we will have to wait, from what I've read, until sometime in July. It looks like it's going to be releasing in Japan, at least Netflix in Japan on January 5th, but it's slated to release like in a bunch of other countries sometime in July. I will say though, like, especially with like how many we have on this list, like I'm actually okay with the fact that like I'm honestly a little okay waiting until July to watch this, because we have a lot of it, which you'll see. But I'm really excited for it. Like, I really enjoyed the first season. It has good characters. It has a fun story, and just interesting and dynamic characters.
The next show on the list is called Redo the Healer. It's set to come out January 13th, and it's what the description of it is a guy who was like, it's kind of like in a world like an isekai type world where he was like a healer in like lack of a better example, in like an MMO style type situation where like you have a party and there's a healer and the fighter and all that stuff
and everything. Yeah.
And he was convinced that being a healer was the strongest, and he reached a really powerful level, and he decides to heal the world and set the world back 4 years, where he gets to decide again. So he's basically re-rolling his character. and I like that premise is something that that's what drew my attention to it, and why I'm like very interested. 'Cause I played a lot of MMO and my fair share of D&D, and sometimes you'll put a lot of work into a character, and either you didn't know what you were doing because of your first character,
or if you're the DM, you kill that character.
Yes. And that is definitely what makes it so appealing to me. It's just that premise. I'm just excited for that show, and it just sounds really fun.
Yeah, it does look really cool, and I enjoyed You're right. It does look like a very fun premise. The next show we're going to be talking about, or at least that I'll be talking about, is Hortensia Saga, which is being done by Studio Leiden Films. And the description for it is, honestly, it's a little generic for the most part, but it takes place in like a medieval fantasy kind of world, with like war and chaos and everything going on. And the former king was betrayed by one of his dukes and assassinated and murdered. And the duke then takes over and rebuilds the kingdom in his own way. And the story is supposed to take place 3 years after the events of that, when the king's successor has secretly come of age. And she is she's masquerading as a man. And she has a couple loyal friends, and they're basically going on an adventure to retake the kingdom. It honestly, like the description for it is very tropey, and there is a risk for this that it's gonna fall into those tropes. But the one thing I'm a little excited for is the fact like it just looked really good. To be honest,
I'll admit, when I was looking through all the upcoming releases of anime, it was one that caught my eye. But because of all, like you said, tropes,
I am honestly concerned that it will fall into the tropes. But I'm at least willing to give a shot and check it out. Worst case scenario, I waste a half hour of my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks really good, and it's slated for a January 6th release.
The next show is Kimono Jihen, and just the description alone is what caught my eye. Where like when a series of small animal bodies that rot away after a single night begin appearing in a remote mountain village, a detective looks into it, and it really seems like a more mature version of. And not that Case Closed wasn't pretty mature, but it just seems like a little bit more of like a darker Case Closed.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Case Closed is definitely kid friendly.
Yeah,
it does deal with mature themes. I'm not saying it doesn't, but like the main character's a kid.
Yes. and that's like a fact. This still seems like it's good, but it just seems like there's some serious stuff. That's what's interesting to me is just that it's gonna have there's mysteries.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of mysteries. I even like stuff like the lame style. Well, what people would probably feel is cheesy or cliched of that, like noir detective whodunit stuff. I really enjoy that kind. That's what makes it so appealing to me. Is that's one of my kind of forms of entertainment.
Yeah. But for me, honestly, this one I read the description of it, and I was kind of like, maybe. But I don't know. I'll definitely check it out.
As long as it's not aliens,
yeah,
I'm fine. Then again, aliens could be cool. It's just kind of like aliens are taking the cows.
So the next one we're going to be discussing is Skate the Infinity, which is going to be done by Studio Bones, which I am very excited for. I love Studio Bones' work. They do amazing animation, amazing music, whole nine yards. But Skate the Infinity is, at least based on the description, is gonna be like a sports anime, but based around skateboarding, and very particularly, it follows this thing called S, which is a highly secret and dangerous downhill skateboarding race that takes place in an abandoned mine. Personally, I'm not usually a huge fan of sports series. And sports animes, just because the characters usually, for me at least, come across as lackluster, and the animation is kind of meh.
Well, and the characters usually wouldn't. They always have to solve their conflicts in the middle of the conflict.
But
rather than having a plan. They're like, oh, am I going to make this jump shot? Oh, where did he get the technique to block me?
Yeah. Honestly, for me, the entire reason I want to check this series out is because Studio Bones is doing it. I'm a big fan of their animation style and their musical choice and their music direction, and there's a lot that they do that's very good.
There's occasionally good sports animes.
Yeah, there is, and this may end up being one that's just turn off your brain. The characters are cardboard.
I would put money on a trailer. In another world, a secret skateboarding race of death in the mind. Like, come on. Like, it's just reeking of that. But it still has a chance. Like, good character, good animation.
Yeah, honestly, like, for me, like, as long as the animation is really good, I will probably watch this. This will probably end up being, like, a guilty pleasure type show for me. But I do hope that the characters are very good. Like, and there is the potential for it. Like, there are, like we said, there are sports animes that have good characters. A lot don't, though.
The next show I'm going to talk about, it's called So I'm a Spider, So What? It's about a classroom of kids who, well, specifically one girl, but a classroom of kids get sent into like a magical world, and they're all turned into humans, except for this one girl who isn't well liked by the school, or her fellow classmates. And she gets turned into like the lowest level creature in like a dungeon, and it's a spider. And she has to use her wild to figure, like her wit, to figure her way out, and probably learn about herself and all that other typical stuff that you see in that kind of thing. But that's why I'm kind of interested in it, is because I like to see different takes on that style. I like having something other than anthropomorphized mediums of entertainment.
Yeah.
It is absolutely boring to me. Like, I can enjoy it. I love Star Trek. And there's seldom you'll see an alien that doesn't look like a human with some goofy makeup on. Or in a clothes with a neck 20 feet up.
Yeah.
Like, and so that's what's really exciting to me, is just that it's different. It looks like it's filled with a lot of the same, like, what's happening? That you see in like Sword Art Online and stuff, of like, how did this happen? Why is this here? I don't care about those questions anymore. That's it. That's the thing we've already mentioned. That's the thing right now.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in the fact that it's like a dungeon. She was turned into a dungeon monster.
Yeah.
That's what makes it interesting to me.
Yeah, that definitely does look really good as well. I enjoyed the preview video for it.
Yeah.
Because you get to see her like hopping around, like and trapping things in webs and things that she shouldn't be able to fight. But it definitely shows off. Like the preview video definitely shows off her intelligence, which does make me excited for this.
So it's supposed to come out January 8th.
So the next upcoming series that I'm going to be talking about is Heaven's Design Team, which is being done by Studio Asahi. And the description for this is: in Heaven's animal design department, designers create a variety of new animals daily while contending with the unreasonable requests of their client, God. And this just looks like a really fun show. It also seems to like also aim at trying to be like an educational show and explain why certain animals are the way they are, and explain the purposes of things.
That's like a new form. Sorry, real quick. That seems to be a new form of anime that's kind of cropping up in popularity and being done well. Like another show that's going to be mentioned in this list, and it's called Edutainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm actually like very happy, because when you see how accurate the stuff is, like I look forward to watching it, because it's
I do hope it is actually accurate, because I've seen some stuff that try to do the edutainment route, and they leave out really important information that's relevant. Like, it's like, here's A, here's C, but you forget B, and B is surprisingly important. But it does look promising, and it's also got like a goofy animation style, and it looks really funny. It looks cool. I'm hoping for it.
Next show we're talking about is called The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter. And it seems really bad. I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't seem horrible, but it looks like it's one of those fun shows where like, and it has all the fan service stuff normally I'm not a big fan of animes that are like focusing on that kind of medium, to where it's lots of jiggly parts, lots of precocious situations with females.
Yeah.
And like the main character in the description said that part of the ways he can get power is through his sexual prowess, or his interactions, or something.
Sexual
interactions. And there's another thing too. I forgot what it is, because that part just like sticks out and wipes away the rest of the review.
Yeah, the series definitely focuses on the ecchi aspect of anime. The next show I'm going to be talking about briefly is The Promised Neverland Season 2, which is being done by Studio Cloverworks. I'm really excited for this. I really enjoyed the first season. I really enjoyed like the they did a lot of world building in it and a lot of character dynamics and everything. And I'm really excited for now that they're outside of the farm, how they're going to survive in the world with like being chased by demons and what's going to happen to them. And it looks so I'm like, I really enjoyed the characters and then their mindsets and how unique they were, but how well they work together and how they grow and how they're escaping from a horrible situation because like they grow up in a farm that demons set up to harvest children. I think they eat their brains or something.
Why didn't you tell me about this anime? I haven't seen this anime. Why well, I'm gonna watch. That's something I'm gonna watch.
Yeah. Well, you get a brief glimpse of the demons in the first season, but it doesn't focus on that part. It focuses on the kids escaping. And the fact that there are a few adults that are on the side of demons, like raising these kids, and the smartest kids with the highest grades are the cream of the crop. I'm so excited to see them in the demonic world now. And that's slated to release January 7th, and I'm absolutely watching it.
The next show is called Jobless Reincarnation, and the description of it is like this homeless 34-year-old virgin who's basically like a loser. He somehow he dies or he gets sent to another world. Like I don't remember what it said in the because that's not the part that stuck with me. Was the part after that where he vows to not be the person he was in the the real world.
Yeah.
Where he was just a jobless loser who couldn't get any women.
Yeah.
That just seems interesting because again, it akin to is a run and pick up girls in a dungeon, where it's someone who's just trying to make a better life for themselves and find an actual companion as opposed to have just this terrible life that they've constructed for themselves. They get a reset button, something we all or not all, but a lot of people wish for, is to be able to start to life over. And he has all his knowledge. They make that clear that when he's a baby, he remembers everything.
Yeah, that's what seems promising to me. Is the fact that it's not he's reincarnated into another world where he's like Subaru from ReZero or
Ainz from
Overlord, where they're adults ahead, but essentially functionally adults, or Subaru in his case he's the same age, he's just transported there, but he's literally restarting from the beginning. It's an actual reincarnation,
kind of like Tanya the Evil.
Yeah, exactly. That's what has me hooked, is the fact that that's what it reminds me of, except not as murder. That's what has me hooked. Is it's an actual reincarnation, not a transported one.
Yeah. And the release date for Jobless Reincarnation is the January 10th.
The next series I'm going to be talking about is actually a spin-off series, and it is Cells at Work Code Black, which is being done by Studio Leiden Films. And this one, the premise is very similar to Cells at Work, where it's a rookie red blood cell is running around doing their job, delivering oxygen. But in this case, the body that they're inhabiting is one that's on the brink of going code black. Basically, whoever the person is that we're following is a drinker, smoker, under heavy stress from probably work or life or whatever. Has to deal with sleep deprivation. We're getting to see, instead of Cells at Work, which was Cells at Work, which was very cutesy and funny and informative, absolutely informative, lots of fun, but seems to be involved in some sort of healthy body. We're getting to see basically a very similar setup, but in a older person's body, someone that's, at least for me, it's going to be a little bit more relatable than the healthy body. It also just looks like it's going to cover darker themes than.
Yeah, that's
what gets me, is that it appears that it's going to be covering darker themes, and that's what has me kind of really interested in it. And the release date for that is January 9th.
Follow that up is the because for some reason they're deciding to release both these series simultaneously. But
It's because it's 2 different studios.
it is 2 different studios. But it's going to be on in Japan. It's going to be on a channel called Japanese Education Network, which still has a lot of like regular like stuff that's just solely entertainment too.
Yeah, and they're airing like one right after the other, called the Cells at Work Hour. Or something like that. Yeah. I forget what they're calling that hour, but like they actually titled that one.
Which is just Cells at Work Season 2.
Yeah.
Season 1, it's a funny show, very informative, has a lot of good info when it comes to just like how all these cells work. I like, and I'm just like super excited for this one because of how funny Cells at Work Season 1 was.
Yeah.
And how like it really does. It's like Osmosis Jones, but
good.
But well,
but good
with higher quality. Osmosis Jones is awesome.
It's funny, but yeah, I'm also really excited for season 2 of Cells at Work. I'm really excited about what they're going to cover in it, because obviously they don't cover everything in season 1, but I'm curious what they're going to do with it, and yeah.
Well, they released like a movie and a special thing, and there's a lot of there's a very popular illness right now that shows like this are going to have a lot of stuff to work with.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff, but I mean, like the first episode of the first season is them dealing with a bacteria that causes pneumonia.
Yeah.
Which is just awesome.
Yeah. The next series I'm going to be talking about is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 2. I'm really excited for it. I really, really enjoyed the first season. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited to see where they're going with it and just the continuation of the story. It's a season 2. There's not really a whole lot more to say about it, other than the fact that it is airing January 12th.
Yeah, I'm just excited for it. Like, it just seems like a lot of just fun continuation of a really good story.
And now we get to, I know, one of your favorites that you're real hyped for.
Yeah, this is definitely like this. If there is a number one on my list, which I didn't do anything in particular order, it would be Log Horizons, Season 3. This show has been like there's a couple obvious reasons why it takes so long, because like Log Horizons between each season takes they're not getting it going, but it's kind of like a George R. Martin with Game of Thrones situation. The people who are writing the story are trying to write a good story.
Yes.
So they take a long time to get there. And, like, I'm just super excited because I love Log Horizons. It was, especially after how disappointed I was in Sword Art Online.
Yes.
Like, it scratched that itch that I didn't know I had until I saw Sword Art Online, which wasn't the first, but it was definitely the one that launched this current, like half the stuff on this list is isekai, that are clearly influenced by Sword Art, and Log Horizons is definitely like Sword Art without all of the dumb rush stuff where it's just like slow perpetual burn and then.
But yeah, I'm also really, really excited for Log Horizon, especially since it's not just called Log Horizon. It's not just called Log Horizon Season 3. It's called Log Horizon Destruction of the Round Table.
Yeah.
Which that has me so like.
Yeah, that definitely.
What's coming?
Excites me.
Because I haven't read anything for this series. But the fact that it's called Destruction of the Round Table, which is something that was set up in the first season, and played a major part in the second season, like that has me curious, you know.
And the release date for Log Horizon is January 13th.
So, the final one on our list is going to be Dr. Stone, Stone Wars, which I'm really excited for. It's a continuation of the Dr. Stone. It's the second season. And unlike the first season where it's a lot of world building and introducing of some characters slowly, this sounds like, and based on the promotional video I've seen, looks like it's going to really ramp up to the fight between Tsukasa and Senku, between the
Empire of Might and the Kingdom of Science.
That's what it is. So I'm really excited for it. You see a lot of the characters you've seen in the first season. It does show off, I believe it's 3 new characters.
I'm just kind of worried they're going to start giving the Kingdom of Might magic powers, because it looks like they are. Like, not magic where they're going to shoot fireballs, but like how Tsukasa can jump 30 stories and
They're
stuff.
going to have enhanced human, basically.
Yeah, that.
I'm concerned about that too because one of them is an archer with supreme healing, or not supreme healing. Sorry, it's an archer with supreme hearing. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. It's might, it's power rules, but it seems like they're going hyper fantasy with them. But it looks very promising, and I'm very hopeful for where it goes. The release date for it is January 14th. That will be all from us. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And hit that bell icon for notifications. Also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Links in the description down below.